Assalamu alaikum. This is Syed Kashif from BS Chemistry. Today I am presenting the topic of green chemistry, which was the part of my presentation topic. So it is presented to Dr. Hamad Majid, the HOD. So let's get the thing started. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The topic is green chemistry, and we will study about its contents first. First one is introduction. What is green chemistry? What is the definition? What it is all about? The number two is objective. What is the purpose of the green chemistry? Number three is what it looks for. What are the findings of the green chemistry? Number four is the philosophy. What is the thinking about? What is the thinking of the green chemistry and how it is applicable to the other industries of the chemistry? Number five is the application, where it is applicable. Number six is principles. In my point of view, these are the 12 pillars of the green chemistry in which whole green chemistry is present, and it works closely with these principles. Number seven is the mode of action, how it actually works. The number eight is limitations. Also, there are side effects, the disadvantages of the green chemistry. So number nine is stability. Stability means in a sense that will it prove its worth in the future? Does it have the power to withstand in the future? We will study about it. The number 10 is the feedback and conclusion. What is my point of view of green chemistry? So let's start with the introduction. Moving towards the next slide. So, okay, introduction. What is green chemistry? Green chemistry, it revolves around the designing of the chemical product and the substances in such a way that it does not toxicates the environment, it does not poses the health issues for the human beings. Um it should reduce or eliminate the use or the generation of the hazardous substances. Green chemistry is all about that. Green chemistry, it applies across all the life cycle of the chemical product. What it means, from the point of the manufacture of the chemical product towards the point in which it is used and it is converted into the product, it applies as a whole. So green chemistry studies all about it. It is also known as sustainable chemistry. What is meant by sustainable chemistry? It is a scientific approach how to increase the efficiency of the products for the beneficial of the human beings. It is the sustainable chemistry. So it was the intro of green chemistry. So moving towards the next slide. What is the objective of green chemistry? What is the purpose of it? To make the environment clean and green, to clean the environment, to make cost competitive chemicals, to make them at a low range so that everyone can buy it. It should not be made that expensive that few number of customers can purchase it. It should be available to all the customers. To prevent the pollution at the molecular level, what does it mean by molecular level? So that the pollution should be avoided at the least point we can consider. To design them in a way that it does not poses the toxicity to the environment, it just makes the environment clean and green. So it was the objective of the green chemistry, it was the purpose. So moving towards the next slide. What are the findings of the green chemistry? Green chemistry looks at the pollution prevention on the molecular level, which was previously discussed also, and it is an important branch of chemistry. It is becoming nowadays. The work on the green chemistry is becoming huge in this present world times, as the environment is very becoming toxicated, not being cleaned. So green chemistry looks at the pollution prevention. Green chemistry encourages the greener technology. For example, hybrid technology, green roofs. Um, it supports the invention of the more environmentally for friendly chemical processes which reduce or even eliminate the generation of the hazardous substances. This program works closely with the 12 principles of the green chemistry. These were the findings. So moving towards the next slide. Philosophy, what is the thinking of the green chemistry is greening the environment by eliminating the hazardous substances, and it is also applicable to the other disciplines of the chemistry. What is the meaning of my saying? Industries, they release a lot amount of smoke in the environment. By releasing the smoke, they pollute the environment. Uh, how is the how is the green chemistry philosophy applicable to this discipline? Let's us see. For example, industries can reduce the smoke emission by using the cleaner technologies, by installing the carbon sequestering technology, which that removes the chemicals from the smoke. So in this way, it will not pose the health issues for the human being, and it will not toxicate the environment. So this was a philosophy, but the thinking behind the green chemistry. So moving towards the next slide, applications. There are numerous applications of the green chemistry. Solar energy, as we know, it is a renewable energy as it is coming from the sun. The many material companies, they are raising to the challenge. They are accepting the challenge to replace the silicon dominated market with the versatile photovoltaics, highly studied alternative. The SSC is discussed as the alternative. Another application is the Solberg company, which changed the firefighting foam, which used the fluorosurfactants, which was persistent, very toxic. It posed toxic issues for the environment. If they change it into a foam mix, which does not use the fluorosurfactants, and it does not have the negative components in it. The liquid CO2, it is also the application. Liquid CO2 can be used as a solvent with wetting agent to remove the grease. It is used by the dry cleaners. Wide range of vegetable oils and animal fats, they can be reused as the jet fuel, propane, etc. So these are the applications of the green chemistry. There are numerous applications of green chemistry. I just illustrated it in this slide. So moving towards the next slide, what are the principles of the green chemistry? In my point of view, these are the most important 12 pillars of the green chemistry. Green chemistry actually works on these principles. So first principle is prevention of the waste. It is better to prevent it is better to prevent waste than to treat or clean up waste. It will pose some issues for the humanity as it is difficult to clean the waste. What is the example of it? In the manufacturing of the phenol, we manufacture it by benzene using the sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide. Sodium sulfide is also produced in this process. If it is not to be used, it will pose a serious issue of the waste prevention. So it should be avoided, and another alternative source and another alternative reaction should be considered for the production of the phenol. So heading towards the next principle, atom economy. What is meant by the atom economy? It gives us the percentage of the products which contain the reactants as compared to the reactant number, to the number of reactants. It gives us the percentage efficiency of the product. How much efficient is the reaction? How much reactants are converted into the products? So synthetic methods should be designed to maximize the incorporation of all the materials which are used in the reaction into the product. So this was the mentality of the atom economy. So moving towards the third principle of the green chemistry, less hazardous chemical synthesis as it is evident wherever practicable. Synthetic methods, they should be designed to use and to manufacture the chemical products in such a way that it should not pose toxic issues for the environment. It should be uh, very healthy for the environment to use it, and to and no toxicity to human health, and it should not pose the health issues for the human beings also. So this is the less hazardous chemical synthesis. So moving towards the next principle, designing safer chemicals. The chemical products should be made safe for the environment with maximum efficiency. What is the example of designing safer chemicals? Biorenewable solvents. What is meant by biorenewable solvents? The solvents which can be reused, regenerated, they are called the biorenewable solvents. So this is the designing of safer chemicals. Moving towards the next slide. Safer solvents and auxiliaries. The use of auxiliary solvents, for example, the reagents they which are used for the separation of the solutions, they should be avoided. They should be their use should be minimized wherever possible and innocuous when used. Example is greener solvents. We should use solvents which are healthy for the environment. They should not pose health issues for the human beings. So it should be used. Moving towards the next slide. Design for the energy efficiency. Energy requirements for the chemical reaction, they should be considered, they should be held accountable in front before carrying out the reaction. How much energy will be used, how can it affect the environment? Possibly synthetic method should be conducted at ambient temperature and pressure. Example, green antibodies and certain biostabilization agents, they should be used for the any energy efficient reactions. Moving towards the next slide, use of renewable feedstock. It is an important principle of the green chemistry. A raw material or feedstock should be renewable rather than depletable wherever technically and economically practicable. The most of the renewable agents, they are carried from the agricultural reactions or other waste products, whereas the depletable products, they are gained from the combustion of the fossil fuels. For example, combustion of petrol, gases, diesel, they cannot be used. If they are used, they are gone. What is the example? Greener solvents, as it was discussed earlier. Next slide. Reduce the derivatives and necessary derivatization. The number of reactants should be minimized in an order to carry the reactions which should reduce the derivatives in the reaction. So and also the products should be efficient. So this is the main goal of the reducing the derivatives. Unnecessary derivatization should be minimized or avoided if possible, because such steps require additional reagents and they can regenerate waste. So this was about reduced derivatives. Moving towards the next slide. Catalysis, catalytic reagents, as selective as possible, they are superior to the stoichiometric reagents. We should use catalyst as it carries the reaction at the maximum rate and at a low time. What is the example? Synthetic reagent, organometallics, and building blocks. They can be used as a catalyst and they should be used. It is preferably to use them in the reactions. Moving towards the next slide. Design for degradation. The chemical products, they should be designed so that at the end of their function, they break down into innocuous degradation products. The mentality is that they should be degraded in a way that they are degraded safely. They should be posing no environmental issues for the human beings or the environment. So and they do not persist in the environment. So this is the mentality of the design for degradation. Moving towards the next slide. Real-time analysis for the pollution prevention. These include real-time monitoring, analytical methodologies. The perfect methods should be used at the real time to prevent the pollution and control prior to the formation of the hazardous substances, so that no hazardous substances they are produced in the environment. This was the mentality, the psyche of the real time analysis for the pollution prevention. Moving towards the next slide. Inherently safer chemistry for the accident prevention. Substances and the form of a substance used in a chemical process should be chosen to minimize the potential for chemical accident, including releases, explosion, and fires. All the chemistry should be included to prevent the accidents which may prove harmful for the workers in working in the industries, etc. So this was the point raised in the inherently safer chemistry for accident prevention. So moving towards the next slide, these were the principles, mode of action, how actually green chemistry works. Uh, Titanium oxide, it is a compound used in the paints. We all know that. Why is titanium oxide needed? It covers the original color of the paint. Dow Paint Company, they developed a polymer named EVOQUE. How does it function? It improves the function by dispersing it evenly. So minimum amount of the titanium oxide is used. Effectivity of paint is also increased with less titanium oxide required. So this is the actually how green chemistry is applicable. How does it works? So there is also another mode of action in the next slide. So moving towards the next slide, producing fuel out of waste gas. As we know, industrial processes produce the gas byproducts. As we know that there are certain microbes which can uh, transform the gas byproducts into fuel, but the gas byproducts they cannot be transformed because the concentration of the molecules is not at the spot, so they cannot be transformed. Dihydrogen is hard to come in industry. Lanza technology made proprietary microbes. It converts the gas byproducts into fuels of the dihydrogen. So in this way, we can convert the gas byproducts into the hydrogen, into the fuels of the dihydrogen, and can use it further. So these were the mode of actions of the green chemistry. How does it actually works? So moving towards the next slide, the limitations. There are also certain limitations. There are also side effects, disadvantages of green chemistry. Number one is initial costs. Perhaps the greatest disadvantage of going green is that it requires a large initial cost. For example, installing a new roof to prevent heat from escaping the house. From your home, it would cost a large sum of money. You need a lot of money to do this, as it will cost you a lot of money. Installing a hybrid vehicle that gets good gas mileage, mileage can reduce the energy usage, but they cost thousands of dollars without the hybrid technology. So this is the limitation of in which we discussed the initial cost. The initial cost are way beyond. Uh, it is very expensive, and this is the uh, greatest disadvantage of the green chemistry, adopting the green chemistry. Moving towards the next slide. This is the illustration, the one on the right, it depicts about the hybrid technology, and on the left is the roof which was discussed in the limitations also. Moving towards the next slide, inadequate savings. If the we require a lot of money to make the green chemistry applicable, The aim of going green is to reduce the environmental impact of process. Green buildings and vehicles tend to use minimum energy, so initial cost can often be recouped over the time through savings. Problem arises where it arises when the savings generated by going green they are less than expected, so they do not make up for the initial cost which was invested for going green in the environment. It looks attractive, but it also has the disadvantages. So moving towards the next slide, there is also one limitation left. Competition, we know it. In the business world, uh, the goal of going green, it looks to be something like attractive. It can gain appreciation of the consumers, but in reality, unless green improvements are they are made economically viable, it puts business at the greatest disadvantage. If it is posed as So I was discussing about the competition in business world. Going green can be an attractive aim to gain the appreciation, but unless green improvements are economically viable, it puts the business at the greatest disadvantage. For instance, one company sticks to strict self-imposed pollution standards which require new technology and workers. Other company will be at an advantage since they have low production cost. So moving towards the next slide, I will be presenting about the stability. Green chemistry nowadays is gaining stability as awareness of this is raising. In the recent issue of the Academia Science Journal, hot topic there was that future is of green chemistry. My meaning is that the basics of the chemistry in the future will be based on the green chemistry. World needs green chemistry in the future as environment requires to be detoxified and to be cleaned. The basic idea is that green chemistry should be the basis of how we do any kind of chemistry in the future. This was a stability. In my personal opinion, it is a very stable one. This discipline is a very, it is gaining stability as the time is passing on. So it has gained stability over the years and it will also gain in the future. So moving towards the last slide, feedback and conclusion. This is it is based on the personal opinion of mine. My point of view is that the idea of green chemistry is excellent and attractive, but it will take years. It will take some time to implement all the perspective and the principles of the green chemistry. To conclude this topic, as heading towards the conclusion, I would like to say that the world needs green chemistry urgently and in a serious manner. Green chemistry will prove its worth in the future. So this was the presentation. I tried to cover all the perspectives, all the aspects of the green chemistry and concepts. I hope that it will be helpful. Um, so it ends the presentation here. Um, these are the references. I just posted it here. So the last slide is about thank you, and I hope you would like this presentation a lot. So thank you. Allah Hafiz.